If you spend the next 20 minutes with me, your life can change, like it did for dozens and dozens of people in my drop servicing community. Quitting your job is ultimately actually quite risky. So if you actually want to start a side hustle, you want to get into something that works. That's why I was showing you these exact results. So you're not just shooting in the dark and thinking, oh, is this stuff working? Is this something that can work? Because you're gonna probably watch 100 videos on YouTube in, starting a side hustle, making money online and things like that. And most of the people are just blatantly lying to you. They're just giving you so many numbers. You look at the thumbnail and it says, make $300,000 a month, passive income, doing almost nothing and things like that. How many of these videos have you watched in the last, let's say, 12 months? How many videos like that? Probably 100, 200, 300, right? And you never actually make a single dollar. 95% of these videos on YouTube are completely BS. Look at this. Finally got my first client for thumbnail design. Small profit margin, but still, and things like that. Let's go to the second page. People have been making, made $500 in 2 months, have closed 2 clients with video editing and things like that, made $300. This is absolutely crazy. Okay, now how we actually got started with drop servicing, I'll tell you the entire story. And now this blueprint is something that you can apply to your own journey. At some point I realized, why can I not find a video editor somewhere in Asia, right? And that video editor is actually going to do the video editing, right? And then all I'm doing is I'm finding just more and more and more clients, right? And the video editor is basically doing all the work, is fulfilling the work. All I'm doing is I'm just checking his work. Okay, that's exactly what it is. So I started basically focusing just on getting clients, just on automating automating emails, collecting email databases of small YouTubers, and then I ended up growing and getting bigger YouTubers and things like that. And then I grew it into an agency with that partner. But at some point I realized that, maybe we kind of want to focus on some other things as well. For example, then what we did is we started working with web design industry as well. So we got a lot of different suppliers from Asian countries as well, and then we approach businesses. For example, let's just look at this example. So I will create a responsive WordPress website design or website redesign. What you can essentially do is landing page with up to 6 sections, slider, about, services, CTA, contact form at $175 with 14-day delivery. This is absolutely insane. And if you think about it, what is that kind of service worth in a place, let's say like San Francisco, California, the entire California state? What about Florida? What about New York? What about Orlando and things like that? You quickly realize that, okay, this kind of thing can be resolved at a lot more money because we're arbitraging. This business model of drop servicing used to be called service arbitrage about 6-7 years ago. That's more or less when I started thinking about this business, because initially I didn't even know the word of drop servicing. I was just thinking I'm just starting some side hustle, reselling other people's services. I didn't even know the term service arbitrage, which was the original term that was back in 6-7 years ago. But since then, people have been calling this business of drop servicing. Okay, so what is really important is to understand that, okay, so when I started my agency, initially I was thinking, bro, it would be so nice to just make, for example, to just make 1K USD a month, and I was really focused on that. And I was thinking, bro, if I can just make $1,000 a month, this is going to be amazing, and it's going to be a big validation that I can look into this as a proper agency. So not just a side hustle, but actually an agency. So that's exactly what we did, and actually we very quickly hit that mark. And then the next thing for me was, okay, how quickly can I actually get into the higher numbers of, for example, $10,000? Like, how quickly can I get to 10,000 bucks? And that was, again, for me, big question, because I was thinking, bro, if I can get to $10,000, I will validate this business model for myself forever that is actually possible. Bear in mind, all of this was a few years ago, way before I even started this YouTube channel. And I was thinking, bro, if I can just get to $10,000, I will be 100% sure that this is the most realistic, the most trustworthy, and actually working logical side hustle that you can start. And I was thinking, bro, okay, so once I got to 10K, my biggest question was, how the heck do I actually scale this business model from 10K into 10K every single month? Okay, now that's where the business model of drop servicing really excels. Because the thing is, this business model could be scaled into 10K a month. But a lot of people who come to my channel, who join my school community and things like that, they come in and they ask a question like, Tom, how to scale to 10K month? 10K a month. Straight away. So the first question is like, okay, brother, so how can I scale to 10K a month really fast in the next couple of weeks, in the next month? Bro, this is not reality, right? This is not reality. That things don't work like that. If you actually want to scale to 10K a month, learn how to make 1K. 1K a month, okay? Learn how to make 1K a month. You can do it through, for example, video editing. You can do it through, for example, it can be a lot of different things, okay? And it's really, really important for you to understand that if you are gonna start in video editing, graphic design, web development, SEO, what else is there? SMMA, so running Facebook ads, running Google ads, running Instagram ads, TikTok ads, and things like that. Brother, this is something that actually has been done for many, many years as an online marketing agency. Drop servicing is just a method of fulfillment, okay? We're not really creating a whole new business model and thinking, is it gonna work if we provide Instagram ads management, or Facebook ads management, or TikTok ads management, or, for example, collecting email lists and helping companies to manage their email subscribers and things like that. Like, is it actually gonna work because we're doing drop servicing? No, you should think the other way around. We're just starting an online marketing agency, and we're using drop servicing business model as a way to fulfill that work. You know, this is how you should think, and that's, if you're thinking like that, you're going to succeed. Because a lot of people think as well, like, is SMMA dead? Is the agency model dead? Well, if it's dead, then go to any of the major cities, New York, London, Paris, Chicago, whatever, like any of the huge cities, and look at marketing and advertising agencies. Are they all done? Are they all firing people and stuff? No, they're growing, they're making money, and they're making huge profits. Why? What about web design agencies? Are all web design agencies completely broke, closing offices, closing shops and things like that? No, they're usually growing, right? Why? Because people need web designs and stuff like this. So your key, your value in all of this is finding the client, okay, connecting the dots, right? Getting the money, managing payments, managing suppliers and things like that. And this is how you're going to make money. Now, when the moment when I started making much bigger money, like I said, I started with video editing, as I showed you on here. So I was working basically with YouTube channels. Okay, so I was going on YouTube, right? I was finding small and medium-sized businesses on YouTube, right? And then I was I was getting their emails. If you go to the About section on PC, you can get anyone's email on YouTube, basically. I showed it on many videos of mine. Right, so this is how I started. I was getting video editing clients in the US, in the UK, in Australia, and editing videos using suppliers, right? But after a while, I realized, you know what? I kind of want to get into a slightly higher ticket niche so I can make a lot more, okay? And that's when I thought about web design. That's when I thought about, you know, online marketing as a whole. So for example, running ads and things like that. So what I've done in the past is I've created websites, I've ran Facebook ads, I've ran Instagram ads, I've ran LinkedIn ads as well. So, and you know, when you're, for example, creating a web design, you know, most of the time you're looking at about 150, 200 bucks, maybe $300 from Asian suppliers. Now, what you're gonna essentially want to do is you're gonna want to drop service or resell it at a much higher valuation. So, for example, we have a website at $200, right? So what essentially you want to do is you want to resell it about 10x. Okay, that would be 2K for a website, but typically as a beginner, I would recommend that you start at a slightly lower valuation, okay, because you have no experience and things like that. So I would recommend that you sell your first website at, for example, 890 or 980 or 970, something like that. You know, so essentially what you want to do is you want to be just below $1,000 for the very first client, just to learn the process, just to learn how it works and things like that. Once you're done with that, the next client you want to get is going to be just below 2,000. So something like 1,980, okay? Or for example, 1,940, okay? Don't make it round numbers as well, because clients really hate that, okay? Because then if you say $2,000, clients will negotiate 1,500, you know, because it seems like it's a number made up completely from nothing, okay? That's really important. So let's just assume we're reselling a website at 1,980 minus $300, right? That's essentially 1,680, okay? This is the amount of profit that you would essentially get from just selling one website. This is absolutely insane, right? This is absolutely insane. Now, if you want to succeed in drop servicing, another really important part is if you have been following my videos religiously over the last few years, you'll notice, but if you're new to my channel, or maybe you've only watched a few videos, that you need to be really careful with payments. As you go into higher ticket niches, like when I started getting into web designs and things like that, you know, sometimes I would need to pay, for example, $500 upfront, $700 upfront, $1,000 upfront, and things like that for, you know, your kind of web design suppliers and things like that. And then your client will essentially pay double. So for example, if I'm spending $1,000, your client has to pay double, so you can keep about 50% margin. But the thing is, in order to pay this money on Fiverr, right, you have to have it in the first place. So you're always running your cash flow at a deficit. So for example, if I want to buy this premium website at $380, right, what's going to happen is, if I have, for example, 3 clients running at the same time, I'm creating 3 websites, right, I'm going to be $1,000 in the deficit for cash flow. So what you want to do is essentially you want to take a deposit from your client. So you want to say, you know what, the website I'm going to make to you for $1,000, 980, for example, or something, right? And I want to get 30% deposit. So $300 your client has to wire to you before any work even starts, okay? This is really, really important. So as you can see, so let's say, as I said, $1,000, right, is the total price that you're going to charge the client. And he's got to give you $300 deposit, okay? Deposit. This is super important, because if you don't do that, you run a risk of actually losing money. And you know, there is business models where it's very easy to lose money. For example, dropshipping is super easy to lose money, and I'm sure you've heard stories of people losing money with dropshipping. Why it happens is because people do not manage the risk, right? People absolutely do not manage the risk, or they don't understand what they're doing and things like that. With drop servicing, I recommend to you that you always take deposits, and especially for these high ticket offers. Like, you know, if you're selling a website, you know, I was just mentoring a guy from Hong Kong called Joseph, and what he was doing, he was essentially selling websites at around 6,000 USD, 7,000 USD. Also, we made one proposal to make a app for a Hong Kong-based company where the development cost was around $12,000. It's a very basic app, but these apps can cost into tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, so it was a very simple Flutter app. Now, you know, when you're starting to make these kinds of offers for your clients, you have to be really sure about deposits, because you don't want to be paying, for example, you know, $5,000 upfront for your supplier to then find out that your client is pulling out, or your client gets hit by a bus the next day or whatever. This is really important. So exactly what I'm talking about. If we go, for example, and search app development, by the way, if you want to go into this niche, you have to be really careful. You know, the fees can be very high. So let's look at some of these, but this is one of the most profitable things if you really get into it, if you understand what you're doing and things like that. Okay, so let's look at maybe the supplier. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So mobile app starts from Android and iOS app development for large scale apps. This is most likely going to be on Flutter, the backend on Flutter, and then you have probably backend as well included in this, but it's going to be super simple. Right, so we're looking at $8,495. Okay, now of course, as we're drop servicing, we kind of want to target around 50% margin, so we're going to be reselling this kind of thing at around $17,000. Okay, and a lot of people who understand you know, app development and web development can get into this niche. So if you have experience, if you have been a developer, or maybe you worked in the tech industry and you have some experience in Flutter and things like that, right? You could get into this niche, but please be careful, because you have to understand if your supplier is making a good job. And you know, like a very simple app, as I said, a very simple app could be done at around 12 to 15k USD. Okay, and we're not even talking about, you know, like a very complicated app. Most of the time it's going to be some template that it's customized and things like that, and it's going to be very simple thing. Large scale apps where we could be looking at 50k to 100k easily. Okay, if you want to create a native iOS app, a native Android app and things like that. So it could be really expensive. So that's why I was actually, the reason why I'm talking about it, not just because I mentored one guy in Hong Kong and he recently was offering this for his client, but also I've actually personally worked in this niche myself of app development. I managed a project on Fiverr worth around 40k USD. Okay, so quite a large scale project. It took around 6 months to complete and things like that. So I know very in depth how it is to work on Fiverr, managing app development process with a company from India. And like I said, the overall spend was around 40k USD. Okay, so this is a very high ticket niche that where you could essentially make 10-20k easily from just one project, but you need to know what you're actually doing. or you need to have a developer advising you, or maybe if you are starting an app development agency and things like that, you could partner up with a developer who understands this, okay? Flutter development, backend development, maybe like a full stack developer, right? And then you could be the guy who's actually finding clients, and he could be the guy who's actually managing the backend and managing the front end, and maybe not necessarily developing this stuff. You could find a supplier on Fiverr or Upwork to do the development, but then this guy that you partner up with will actually oversee the entire process and manage that process, because somebody has to check the quality of code. That is super important. Before handing it over to the client, this code needs to be checked as well. You can find, for example, code review. For example, let's type in here, code review, okay? This is something that can be as a service. I will write, edit, review Python program code. We don't need Python. We want an Android app, for example. But there is reviews and audits of all kinds of different coding languages. It can be anything really. It could be Flutter app code review of the front end. It could be the back end code review and audit and recommendations as well, what needs to be improved. So this is something that a lot of people are making some huge money on app development, and of course website development as well. So in this video, I gave you a step-by-step tutorial how to start your drop servicing agency. So first of all, find a service. Find a service that you're going to deliver, and there is a lot of services that you can do. So if we go, for example, on this website called fiverr.com, right, you can simply find a lot of different services. Have a look at this. So for example, we want to go and scroll down to the very bottom, right? And we want to find the categories of different services. So we've got graphics design, digital marketing, writing and translation, video and animation, music, audio, logos design, programming, data. We've got what else? We've got finance, photography. There's a absolutely huge amount of different categories, and like I showed you, the most common ones and the ones that I've been personally making money for the last few years: web development, video editing, graphic design, app development, and things like that. So these are the ones that you really want to pay a particular attention on, and especially, of course, including online marketing, like running of ads and things like that. This is how you should start. So find a service that you're going to deliver, okay? Then try to find your very first client before you invest huge amounts into creating your own website, huge amounts into, for example, anything that requires investment of time and money for you makes absolutely no sense when you're starting your drop servicing journey. You want to be super lean, and all you want to do is you want to find a service, find a supplier, and then essentially you want to try to get your very first client. Now, in this video, as I said, I gave you the backstory as to how I got into drop servicing, taking on higher and higher ticket niches, higher and higher ticket clients, and things like that. So if you want to know how to start drop servicing step by step, where I personally help you, not just to choose the service, choose the niche, how to find clients, how to automate the business, how to scale it into an agency where you could essentially quit your job. Maybe you wanted to have a side hustle on the side next to your job, that's totally fine. But if you want to essentially quit your job at some point in the future, I've got a 3 months mentorship program that you could apply, and we can talk about your needs, we can talk about your aspirations and your goals. There is going to be an application in my school community as well with some instructions, but also you can simply just send an email to this email and we can chat about it. So thanks for watching this video. Drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next video.